Good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you are at in the world. Welcome to today's episode of the Connect 7 podcast. I am your host, Thaddeaus Sims, and if you've been connected with me for a while, share an episode with a friend so that they can tap in. Your boy out here spitting rhymes and bars. So, quick announcement, guys. I am back on YouTube, I guess. I'm now going back on my YouTube channel. So, this episode currently is on YouTube, so you'll be able to see this gorgeous smile of mine, and you can see the shirt that I'm wearing. You probably can't read it, but it's something slick. So I'm gonna adjust my hair for some of you. Let's see, uh, uh, and then y'all can read it. Okay. Um. So there you go. You can read the shirt, and I just hit the microphone. But anyways, I am on YouTube, and I've been a bit hesitant getting back into the videos because I was just like, let me get settled in, bring all of my equipment, moving into a whole different country, yada, yada, yada. And with videos, there's like more editing, and I was just like, we're going to see. But now we're on it, and we're going to get back on the YouTube and do some more videos and things like that. So I'm officially settled in now. And yeah, we're on YouTube. So you'll be able to see this funny face of mine. Now let us get into the fun fact. Now I kind of feel like I'm being so exposed because y'all can see me now, and y'all can see what I'm actually doing on here. But I will say for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I do have my handy dandy notebook next to me because I have to have my notes and my things organized because your boy will go on a tangent, and yeah, like I can be focused, but then I can really get off. So, like I'm just about to do. All right, we're going to get into the fun fact before we talk about what we're going to talk about in this episode. So, the fun fact is in Colorado, USA, where I'm from, there is still an active volcano. It last erupted about the same time as the pyramids were being built in Egypt. So, a part of me wanted to say, damn, sucks to be in Colorado because it's like in Florida where I'm born and raised and all that stuff. No relations to the Florida man, I promise. We didn't have all that. We had a typical, hurricanes, people eating Tide Pods, little tornado warnings, that this, that, and the other, but not volcanoes. However, joke's on me because I've moved to a country where there's a lot of volcanoes around here. So, eh, you know, I mean, I don't want to feel no razzle dazzle beneath my feet. I'd like to cause a little razzle dazzle, but not like, you know, go through it because I've had to ask friends here. I'm like, hey, what do y'all do when like not a volcano? Sorry, that's an earthquake. But even then, I didn't have that in Florida, so they have earthquakes here too. But no, I'm lying. I did ask someone about volcanoes. I'm like, what do you guys do when that happens? Apparently, there isn't a whole alarm that goes off. They say go to high ground. I guess I don't know, but we're near mountains, so if we got to do it, then I guess we got to do it. I've learned just follow the crowd. That's what everyone's been saying. That's the one time I will say follow the crowd. So, I'm all exposed. Y'all gonna see everything. We're gonna talk about today is asking for help, and I'm gonna be very honest. I was debating. I'm like, what is this episode gonna be about? Because I've changed directions with the podcast, and I'm just like, what are we gonna talk about today? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let it come to me. And sure, you motherfucking enough, it came to me. And I have to thank my partner for this. She's amazing. And we had a very good talk before I recorded the podcast. And I just want to share parts of that conversation with you all, especially for those of you who struggle with asking for help. I can't say that this is an American thing because I just kind of feel like in parts of America, you're kind of built to just like hustle and do some shit and you don't really ask for help unless like you're in damn like it's an I can't even say an emergency because even in emergency cases we tend to kind of do shit and like yeah like we damn near are in the deathbed and not even that you can be in the fucking hospital and sometimes you won't even ask people for help because you don't want to bother them or inconvenience or fill in the blanks, right? And so I am one of those people who do struggle with asking for help, right? If there and it's different when it comes to little stuff like, oh, like I don't know how to do this, so hey, can you help me out with this? Like that's fine, that's easy, but I'm referring to asking for help with the things that are uncomfortable, those things that really matter. So I'm gonna just kind of talk about again my struggles with this. So one of my biggest struggles when it comes to asking for help is it's like those vulnerable emotions, they make me uncomfortable, right? I can be very straight up and I can be blunt, I can be sarcastic, I can be all those things. And certain stuff when it comes to like vulnerabilities, I can talk about here and there, but then it comes with those emotions that I don't really talk about. And speaking with my partner, it just came up to some things that I experienced in my past that has caused me to redo some things, face some stuff, reevaluate. No, I didn't hurt nobody, y'all, I promise. But it's just some things that affected me kind of growing up. And because of that, it's made it hard for me to ask for help. Now, going back with those vulnerable emotions, they make me uncomfortable. So when I get really uncomfortable, especially like my emotions, I tend to try to figure this shit out myself. And I will only say something about it once I've gotten through it. But in the middle of going through it, I don't really say nothing. And it comes with a couple of things, especially being a male child growing up and just being a male in general, you kind of pick up, some things of like you got to suck some shit up, or you're a guy, you don't cry about it, you suck it up, da 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 da. And some of those things still do kind of play in parts of my life, and it comes when again, if I'm experiencing something that makes me feel really vulnerable, I tend to just again I don't want to talk about it because when I'm uncomfortable with those vulnerable emotions, it just puts me in this state where I can be like my tolerance is very low. My sensitivities are very high. And I tend to just like that we finna shut all this shit down. And I was talking, with my partner and she was laughing because she's experienced all of that with me where if I'm at a point where I don't feel like talking about something and my tolerance has completely dropped. I'm like, fuck all of this shit. I don't want to talk about it. It's dead, it's done. Leave it at that. And if you try to bring this shit up, I'm gonna be pissed. And we worked through it. We worked through it. But some of you may be experiencing that as well. Is vulnerable emotions and you're just uncomfortable again talking about them. And what I would say is do this self work to kind of like figure out where it came from, what causes it, knowing your triggers and finding other ways that you can implement to be able to discuss those vulnerable emotions. For me, my default was all right, it's not important right now, so we need to focus on the goal and keep it fucking moving. And that's what I went with. And that was my default. If I have a goal in mind, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this type of way, but we can brush that to the side and keep it moving. Now I'm like, okay, this made me feel uncomfortable. I didn't like this. And I am now at the point of life where I'm just like, okay, I know my default is to brush this off, but I know I need to talk about it because I know my negative habits when I don't talk about it. And that's where, like I said, you're doing that self work, figuring out what it is, knowing your negative self habits and trying to implement. So, like I said before, mine would be I would shut some shit down, and I would know that my tolerance is would be low and my sensitivities would be high. And it also revealed that I didn't have patience in that area of my life. I'll have it with other shit. Surprisingly, the shit that I have to deal with on a regular, sometimes I'm like, damn, the boy got patience. But when it comes to like those vulnerable things about myself, my patience is very fucking low. And it's like, I'm, I know I need to work on that. I know, okay, when I try to talk about this, I need to communicate some things that is gonna, make this a bit easier to talk to the person about. Because if I'm talking about this and either one, you're joking or you cut me off or anything, I'm gonna shut down and I don't wanna have motherfucking thing to do with you. I don't want to talk to you. We're gonna change the subject and keep it moving. But I know that is something that I have to work on. And some of y'all might be laughing like, damn, or y'all might can relate. Like, damn, you do that too? And it's like, yeah, your boy be out here going through it, but we're gonna figure it out. But it's just like I'm learning that I don't have to do it by myself. There's people who genuinely want to fucking help you. So I wanted to say that. And this leads to another struggle for me when it comes to asking for help is that I've learned in my 31 years of walking on planet Earth. I wish I can fly. But on walking on planet Earth, I realized that I am portrayed as a person that has all of his shit figured out. And I didn't really think much of it until I started speaking with some close friends of mine. And when I asked them for help on something, they have like this shock. Like they're like, whoa, like it literally is like I just shattered their not shattered their world, but it's just like they're like, whoa, like okay. It's like it throws them for a loop because it's like I'm usually the one that everybody comes to for the advice or has some answers, figure some shit out, or I can okay, let's talk about it. We're gonna work through it and it works out. But I've learned over the years that I'm portrayed as someone who has things figured out. And it didn't hit me, but even my partner says like, yeah, like you have like this image of where it seems as though you just have everything all figured out. And I don't do this on purpose. And then when I really looked at it, I was like, but I see how I contributed to that image because there's times where a lot of people ask me like, "Hey, what's going on in your world?" And I could literally be going through it, but I'm just like, "Yeah, no, this is not I'm not for the, be, put a like have a negative tone, or I'm not gonna put this out there, this, that, and the other, because it's gonna get resolved. It's gonna get worked out. This is a challenge for me right now, but I'm not gonna talk about it." And so I'll say, "Oh, yeah, all things are good," because to me, is me reinforcing to myself that it will be good, right? And of course, if you add that up, anytime that someone asks about you and you're always saying things are good, it's just like, damn, shit is really always good with this man. It's like he never goes through problems. And it's be like, bro, you don't even know. Like, I be getting my ass beat sometimes. And I don't really talk about it because, again, I would always just like figure it out. And because of me not talking about it and or asking people for help, it comes as a shock when I do ask for help. And this has come into play when I released when I released episode 2 or 3 of season 3, the financial trauma one. There were some friends who I'm gonna speak with one friend to stay on topic. One friend in particular, we had a talk, and he's gonna know who he is as I say this, but we had a talk, and he was like, I had no idea you were going through any of this and you were just at work as if everything was all good. He was like, boy. And I was just like, and he's probably laughing because he knows that exactly that's his word, boy. But I was like, yeah, bro, going to work, having a good day. But it's shit. I'm going through it at home. There's so much fucking shit going on. Like, bruh, it's ridiculous. But again, he didn't know. And no one really knew except those who needed to know. And I say this because you may be in my shoes where it's like you're portrayed as you have everything all figured out. But it really comes down to just like, not saying that you need to tell the world about your business, no, but it comes down to like those, at least having those few people that you can talk to about those things. And when it comes to just like other people, just kind of like maybe sharing stories, like if it helps with them to like some things that you've kind of had to overcome and stuff like that. But having those people that you can talk to about some of the shit is gonna help you. And it's not to say like don't figure out your shit, but what I'm saying is for those of you who do have that portrayal of I have my shit figured out and you really don't, you probably be getting your ass beat left and right. Life is probably trying to knock your head between a washer and dryer in a garage like it was doing me, but you're like, yeah, you know, that's just our relationship, but I know I'm going to get through it. And it's just like, oh, baby, you're in an abusive relationship. You should talk about it. So it's like, ask for help. And I'm learning that if I did ask for help, some things could have changed a lot. And it was, again, very hard because in those moments, I think that what makes things a bit hard is just like you're going through those struggles and emotions are high or emotions are raw, and you talking to people, it kind of like it brings it back where it's like you may go to work, you may go to other places to kind of get away from it, to take a break. And so when people ask you, hey, how's everything? You're like, it's good. And it's because it's like, I'm not trying to talk about that. I ain't even trying to put my mind here. I'm here with you. Everything is good. I'm happy right now. And we're going to keep it moving. But learning to ask for help and talking to people that you are close with, it definitely will help you out. And this actually leads into like my next main point, which is after me and my partner, we had this talk, and I was just telling her things and putting stuff out there. I was like, you know what? I know I struggle with it. And I know that with my mind, I would tell her like I told her, I was like, yeah, like I'll mentally prepare myself. So I'm probably fit to say something that most of y'all do. If not most, maybe some of y'all. But this is something that I do. When I know I have to talk to someone about something that's very vulnerable to me, and it's like a very sensitive stuff or whatever, I will think of all the scenarios or and all the responses that they would have. And I would process it all. And in each one of those scenarios, I'm just like, okay, let me be prepared just in case they reject it or they don't. If they say this, if they say that, let me at least be mentally prepared. Let me be open. Let me be patient. Let me try to increase my tolerance. Let me try to increase my bandwidth. This is me. Like, I'll think of those things so that I'm prepared emotionally and mentally to take what they're going to give me, because I know, like I said earlier, my sensitivities are high, my tolerances are low, and my patience is not there. So it's just like, let me be prepared as best as I can and then talk to them. And so it may take me like, it could probably take me a day, and sometimes it may take me a few days just to like get it there, just to ask them that question, because I know me, and it's just like, yeah. So I don't know if some of y'all, I wouldn't say it's overthinking, and hell, maybe, but like I know I do that, and I don't think I'm the only one. So you may go through that. And I was like, I would like to know if I can kind of skip the process of doing that and just ask it. But I was just like, emotionally, I'm not there yet. I will get there. And so I asked my partner, because she can just say it and just say things and stuff like that. And I was like, I can do that too, but only when I'm upset and when I'm pissed. Bitch, everything will come out. I cuss you out, not her, but I'm just saying in general, like to y'all, to other people. I'm like, I cuss you out, cuss your mama out. Say what I gotta say how I gotta feel. I won't give a fuck, and it is what it is. And we can talk about it, or we don't. But fuck it. It is what it is. I'm tight. I'm frustrated. Shit. Let's bring every motherfucking thing out. Bitch, you pissed me off last year, January. The day after New Year's, it pissed me off. So since we want to talk, so it's like all that shit will come out, and it's just like this is to me. It's like we need to work on that. Like we need to not only let shit come out when we're angry or pissed or tight. And it's like that has been a thing for me of like let's try some other methods here. And she was laughing a bit on that because I told her, I was like, yeah, you've seen how I am, especially when it like my partner has saved some people's lives. Like I'll be feeling the type of way about something and I'll tell her and she's like, it's okay. Like literally today, fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Cause if she's listening to this, she's like, this bitch didn't let it go. We were shopping and we were shopping at Pack and Save. For some of you all who don't know what the fuck that is, on this side of the world, Pack and Save is like a Costco, but less anxiety ridden and a little bit more organized, in my opinion. And there's you shop, you get to the checkout. They put all of your stuff in the basket, so they don't put it in a bag. You bag your stuff. And there's a bagging station. So it's a long bench or whatever. And everybody goes and you have your own bags and stuff like that. And you put your stuff over there. So there was a little bit of a line. So we were kind of waiting like, okay, where do we go to, to our stuff? And so there was a whole ass dude. There's a whole ass dude who is sitting on this bench. Now, this isn't like a little bench, like it's not something that you sit on, right? And it's not short to where you sit on. I would say, imagine if you were going into the bank and you go to the spot where you have to fill out this is for some of y'all who go to the bank, but you go inside, you fill out whatever information you got to, and on the card, and you give it to them how much you want to withdraw, this, that, the other. So it's about that height. This grown ass man is sitting on the part where we are taking our bags out to put our fucking food in the bags. And so for me, it's just like, bruh, you got your whole ass. Not saying he's bare ass, but shitty. You might as well say it for me. You got your whole ass on the part that all of us are going to put our food on or put our food in the bag or whatever. Bitch, where I'm dealing with my food, your ass needs to not be on it. That's just how I felt. And I was just like, he got his whole ass on there. And my partner, she's just like, it's okay. And I'm just like, "Mm." So we're bagging, and because it's still a line, and we walk, and I say it in front of this dude because I just didn't care. I was like, we got a person with his whole, no, I said, it's the whole ass for me. And she was just like, it's okay. And she's trying to like shut me up to keep walking because I said it in front of him. And I was just like, bro, what the fuck, bro? Like, I don't want to think of my carrots in your ass at the same time. It's not what it is for me. But anyways, I say all of that to say like, when I be feeling away, I just be like, bro, I need patience in that sense, especially when I feel away. And all of that, there is a reason I say all of that because it comes down to this important step that I actually did. I was like, let me work on asking for help. Let me work on speaking up on things and saying stuff. So I was practicing with my partner. So what I'm saying is I did it, right? So I did that. I asked for help with my partner. And here's what I learned from her and our conversation. So the first thing is, if you have a person that genuinely, I'm going to repeat, genuinely wants to help you, let them. Now, I'm going to put some in parentheses here. Of course, if they're a person that is proven to be trustworthy, my partner is very trustworthy. I trust her. So for you, if there's somebody who has been proven to be trustworthy, and they genuinely want to help you, let them help you, right? This it took us some time to kind of like unpack this, because I was like, yeah, I've asked people for help, but it doesn't really help me out. And I'm like, they'll say this and I've already done it, or they'll suggest this and they already done it. And then I was like, also, when it comes to people, most people really want to just kind of talk about themselves and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, and it's a lot of work that I have to do on my end. One, I got to break down what I'm talking about. Two, I got to translate it in a way that they get it. Then I gotta see if they're in the right mood and this in my mood. And it's just like it's just a lot. I was like, it's not excuses, but I've done this. But in that, I would not just ask her for help with stuff. And I could feel, and I was telling her, I was like, I can feel that you do want to help. I'm very much aware. And I'm also aware that I don't really let you, like, because of what I've experienced in my past. Like, I just I'll just figure this shit out. And we talked about it, and I was just like, you are a person, that I can come to, and I know you can help me, but it's something that I have to work through on doing it. And I was like, it's just speaking up and it's asking for help. So I took that opportunity to just kind of tell her, like, okay, well, this is some of the things that I've been going through. And this is some of the things that I need help with. And I was telling her about this whole thing of like my mind. Like, I'm like, I have to mentally prepare this, that, and the other. So I was just telling her with certain scenarios that we experienced. And I was telling her what my perspective was on it, and it was really good. Like, in telling her these things and in my way of kind of like asking for the help, she shared a lot of good stuff. And I was just like, huh. It made me feel lighter. It made me feel better. I was able to share with her, some perspectives, because she, again, wants to help me. And the things that I've told her, to her, she was telling me her perspective. She was like, it just sounds like you are just kind of like in the past with stuff. And every time I try to give you something, you reject it and you say you've already done it or this has helped you. And she's like, it doesn't look like it is. And so I was like, okay, let me break this down. I've done these things and this, that, and the other, but I see where you're coming from, because I've never told you the things that I actually do. Like, I never really go in depth with it. And when I shared it, she was just like, wow, like, I really appreciate that. Like, that makes sense, that when I say these things, like, to me, it seems like you're shutting it down, but you've already done it and I just didn't know that. And I was like, yes, but that's on me because I didn't tell you. So what I learned was like, let me let me at least, let her help me and let me ask and stuff like that. So it was just those parts of just communicating and just telling her, hey, these were my weaknesses with asking for help. This is why, because I feel uncomfortable with this. And it made me feel lighter. And honestly, it made me feel better. And I was just like, wow, I'm actually glad I did it. I'm glad I didn't really think about it as long as I did before. I just took it in the moment and I was like, huh, that was really good. And then the next thing that she shared with me that was really, really good was that she said, set up, people for success. And what she means by that is like, when you're asking people for help, set them up for success. Because what I told her about, again, referencing when asking for help, when it comes to people, like I was like, I said this and they don't really help. And I told her about my brother. His name's Jordan. And I was like, when it comes to Jordan, I can tell him things because me and him have the same patterns and we can call each other out on our shit. And he's like me. We're just so much alike that we can bounce our thoughts off of each other because we both know we have the capacity. We both will think about it before we do it. And I was telling her, I was like, yeah, when it comes to him, I will literally say this to him. I would say, okay, hey, bro, this is what's bothering me. This is what it is. These are my thoughts on it. This logically makes sense to me. These are the things I've done to try to help myself. And I was like, again, logically this will make sense, but emotionally, it's hard for me and I just can't fucking deal. So Yeah, this is everything. What are your thoughts? And when I told her that, she was like, for other people, give them that grace. One, for the capacity, because that was a struggle for me with talking to people who don't have the capacity to handle the shit that I may need help with. And she was like, one, give people the grace that of like, okay, hey, they may not have that capacity yet, but they have the potential to grow it. And then she said, also set them up for success like you did with Jordan. Do that for other people. So when you're going through something, let them know, hey, this is what you did. These are your thoughts. This is what's logical to you. This is emotionally how you feel. And these are all the things that you've done. And when she said that, she was just like, again, you're setting them up for success to help you because now they're not giving you the same shit that you've heard. And when I thought about that, I was like, I never thought about that. Like, I've just been so used to not communicating it or people just sucking at helping me that I never thought to set them up for success by telling them these things. And it goes again with communication. And it's like, when it comes to communication, it's like there's all these levels of communication. It's like, okay, you can do this, and it takes a step forward. It takes a little bit of work, but when you know how to do it and you practice it, it makes things easier. And once she gave that to me, I was like, huh, okay. And so I took that opportunity in our conversation of like, okay, well, these are the things that I've been going through. And this is what's been on my mind, just with a lot of stuff of kind of like some things of with us moving here. So just looking to certain different stuff and some ideas and this, that, and the other. And just sharing with her like, hey, this is what I've been doing. These are my thoughts. This is how I feel, da, 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 da. And she gave me some really solid advice. And I was like, huh. And for the first time, it was just like, wow, like I actually felt like I got some advice that actually works for me versus people would be telling me stuff and I'd be like, oh, okay, thank you for your time. In my head, I'm like, that didn't do motherfucking thing for me, but it is what it is. And so I say all of this, guys, to say find a person or a group that you trust and practice asking for help. Learn what works for you, what doesn't. Learn yourself and knowing where your shortcomings are when it comes for asking for help. And set people up for success and let them know, these are some of your shortcomings with it. And it can be a bit tough, which takes practice because as a person who has been practicing communication for a very long time, there are things that I still have to learn. um I learned that I'm best at communicating things when I'm in my power, but when I'm not in my power, that's where it's very hard and tricky for me. A lot of my shortcomings will come up in that, and it's just like, okay, let's look into that. Let's look into what we need to add. And so, like I've mentioned to you guys, some of those shortcomings is like once you know what your shortcomings are and you need help, work on kind of letting that person know. So, wrapping it up with what I've been telling you guys, an example of that would be for me, and it could be for you. You can tailor it. Is let's just say, I need help with. We'll say podcast. Let's go with the podcast. Like if I was talking to someone like, hey, I need help with some podcast stuff, like ideas and stuff like that. This is what I've been doing. I've been doing research. I've been looking to this. I've been connecting. I've been going through some notes and things like that. Logically, it makes sense if I do some more stuff, we'll say with marketing, right? Logically, it makes more sense to do things with marketing. Emotionally, it's like, it's something I'm learning, but I'm like, I tend to go backwards and forwards on because it's not my strong suit, but I'm learning to like it. So it's kind of And this is kind of something that I need your help with. Like, what can I do to make it like better? Also, if you can take this very seriously, I know we usually joke sometimes, but if you can kind of take it seriously, because this is something that I really like passionate about. So I can be very sensitive to it. And I'm currently working on like my tolerance and patience to handle what you're going to give me, because sometimes like rejection or certain words that are being said can like uh. So I just wanted to put it out there. And it may seem like that was a lot, but what that does is you're setting the tone. People that you trust know, like, okay, this is, a serious matter. You have already told them what you did, what's working for you, what's not. And you're setting them up for success. And you're also communicating, hey, these are my little shortcomings. So let me just let you know that now. So you don't joke and then I feel some type of way. And then we have to have a whole conversation. And I'm going to try to stop myself from beating your ass like I want to in my head, because I fuck with you. But I still kind of want to beat your ass for that little slick comment you said. So yeah, it's something, it's a work in progress, but it's something for you guys to practice. And I just thought this would be a good thing to just share with you for those of you, again, who are struggling with asking for help. Now, if y'all would like me to talk more on this, because I wanted to just keep this kind of focused. If you have any questions and things like that, or want me to talk more on it, feel free to hit me up. Y'all know the different channels: IG, TikTok, well, now YouTube, email, all of that. And I'd be happy to elaborate or even do another episode on that. So with that being said, guys, that is it for this podcast episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your night, morning, twilight, all of the stuff that you're doing in between. And I look forward to speaking with you guys in the next episode. Later.